Hey, Royal Family, it's Cash Me Out. I am Queen Supreme, back at you again with another video. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about Trinity Love Jones. I had talked about this case a couple of days ago. However, Trinity is the little girl that was found in the duffel bag in Hacienda Heights. Now, a couple of things have changed or whatever in the case, so I thought it would be important that we dig into this case and become informed further with this case. Without further ado, let's go.
There's another update that I want to give you on the Trinity Love Jones case. Her mother is arrested in connection to the 9-year-old girl's death. So at first they said it was just the boyfriend that was involved in Trinity's death. Now the mother is also being charged. You know, it's a shame how no one in that family saw the danger this poor child was in. Nobody just saw it. But here we are now. This came out on CBS News, March 18th, 2019. The mother of Trinity Love Jones, a 9-year-old girl whose body was found in a duffel bag near a suburban horse trail near Los Angeles earlier this month, was booked as the second suspect in the child's murder Monday. CBS Los Angeles reports authorities says Tequesta Graham, 28, was extradited to Los Angeles from Texas on March 14th. She has been held without bail ever since. Charges are expected to be filed Wednesday, followed by an arraignment, according to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Graham's boyfriend, Emil Hunt, who authorities says has a 2005 conviction for child abuse in San Diego, has been charged with Jones' death. Hunt was found sleeping in his vehicle in a lot near San Diego International Airport on March 9th, according to sheriff official. Hunt's arraignment has been delayed until April 16th. He remains in jail in lieu of a $2 million bail. If convicted, Hunt faces up to 50 years in state prison. And that's really a life sentence for him, practically. 50 years, yeah. He's never getting out. The girl's body was found about at 10 a.m. on March 5th at the bottom of an embankment in Hacienda Heights, east of Los Angeles. The body, which was found by county workers clearing some brush, was partially inside a black rollaway type duffel, with her head and her upper body protruding from the partially zipped bag, authorities said. As sheriff's homicide detectives investigated the case, Hunt and Graham were stopped in Hunt's SUV about 6 a.m. March 8th at a Border Patrol checkpoint. Hudspeth County, Texas, officials say. Graham was arrested for an unrelated warrant, and Hunt was released, according to the sheriff's department statement that said investigators in Los Angeles County were unaware of the arrest. After Graham was arrested, Hunt began driving back to California, officials say. Graham, Hunt, and Jones moved from a family member's home in Long Beach in May 2018, and during the past 10 months, their extended family had limited contact with them, according to the sheriff's department. They were homeless just prior to the girl's death and were living in Santa Fe Spring Motel in their vehicle, officials say. You know, I don't know. I think I would ask a family member to take my child if I was homeless or I was living in a vehicle. I would try to do something for my child, even if I couldn't do anything for myself. Investigators announced earlier that they believe Trinity's body had been left along Esquarian Trail within 48 hours of being found. So they estimate that she's been in that duffel bag at that location for about 2 days. But since then, they have come to believe she had been left at the scene during the afternoon of March 1st, according to the sheriff's department. Jones' family said she loved dressing up like a princess. Trinity was our princess, said Jones' cousin. Oh, that's a shame. Jones was found wearing a shirt that read, "Future Princess Hero. My family and I are devastated about losing her. She didn't deserve any of this. She didn't deserve to be tossed out like trash." Oldham Edmund said Trinity will be greatly missed. Jones' father, who didn't have custody of his daughter, posted a 22-minute video on Facebook expressing his frustration. "She can't tell me how much she loves me. She can't tell me how much she missed me," he said. That's a shame. So now look like the boyfriend is not going to be alone in the charge of murder. The mother will be charged with murder as well.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy DJ Knock, and I welcome each of you to another round right here with me on the Blockbender TV Experience, where we discuss real community issues and possible solutions. A 9-year-old Angel who was murdered senselessly by none other than her mother's boyfriend. Trinity's body was discovered back on March 5th around 10 a.m., and her body was stuffed inside of a black rollaway type duffel bag with her head and upper body protruding from the partially zipped bag, which was left at the bottom of an embankment in Hacienda, California. During my last report on this case, I mentioned that her mother, Takista Graham, was currently in jail on a separate charge that had absolutely nothing to do with Trinity's murder, but decided that while she was away doing some time, she'd leave her daughter in the care of not the biological father, but 38-year-old Emil Hunt, the mother's boyfriend, who had already been convicted on child abuse charges and other related charges as well. But to my surprise, in following this case, Trinity's mother was recently charged with 1 count of murder last Wednesday in connection with her daughter's death. And I want you to check this out.
I have cried out to the system for so long for my grandbaby.
61-year-old Diana Wilson grief-stricken, preparing to bury her 9-year-old granddaughter, Trinity Love Jones. As if saying goodbye isn't overwhelming enough, knowing her sweet Trinity was murdered is too much to bear. You cried out to the system.
To the system. I cried out to the Department of Children's Services. I cried out to my daughter's parole officer.
Diana saying she knew her granddaughter was being abused. She blames her daughter's boyfriend for mistreating and killing the 9-year-old girl whose body was found in a duffel bag tossed on a brushy trail in Hacienda Heights. Detectives making the gruesome discovery back on March 5th. The child's mother, Tequesta Graham, already on parole for an unrelated crime, and her boyfriend, Emil Hunt, charged with murder in the 9-year-old girl's death. If you could say anything to Trinity right now, God gave you 30 seconds, what would you say to Libby?
Granny, I'm Nani, Trinity, Nani never forgot about you. Nani was there. Nani was crying out. Nani, because I know my grandbaby was saying, Nani, where are you?
We spoke with the director of DCFS about Diana's claim that she begged for the department to get involved and help her granddaughter.
We have searched hours and hours worth of tapes. We have looked at every electronic system that we have in the Department of Children and Family Services, and the only call that we can locate is one that took place in 2011, about 8 years ago. We found the child to be happy, healthy, well-nourished. We found no signs of any kind of abuse or neglect. There were no marks on the child's body.
Tears flowing nationwide for little Trinity. People are heartbroken. A precious child was discarded like trash.
I need my daughter Tequesta to know that we love her. She has our support. She's innocent.
And talking about your daughter, Tequesta.
Yeah. Tequesta.
Folks, she did face a judge. Her boyfriend faced a judge. Neither entered a plea. They both remain behind bars, charged with murder. Their bail, $2 million each.
Now welcome back. In the many cases that I've been following over the years, to see a mother charged with murder of her own child while already in prison, that's something that's new to me. Even though Tequesta Graham has a criminal record that includes prostitution, enticing a minor female for prostitution, in other words, pimping out a minor under the age of 16, and for doing so, she's now registered as a sex offender, and she has other charges as well. But this makes me wonder if the district attorney's office made this decision to charge Ms. Graham with murder as a demand for responsible parenting, or if the boyfriend, who is currently incarcerated, decided that he wanted to make a deal with the state only to receive a lesser sentence, even though in the state of California since 2014, the death penalty was deemed unconstitutional, so says a federal judge by the name of Cormac J. Carney. Isn't it amazing, though, how people of the courts will try justifying not doing their jobs and in turn make caring individuals look to be not so caring after all? But as you saw in that interview with Trinity's grandmother, she said that she called out to the system time and time again, but no resolve, unfortunately. I'm not surprised that she hadn't received custody of Trinity, but I'll leave that one alone because I'm not here to bash the grandmother. At least she did try and reach out. Now, CPS, on the other hand, they're known as Child Protective Services, but they've been failing families and children for many, many years. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen CPS, even sometimes the courts, place the child or children in the hands of the mentally ill or unfit guardians. Even those who work for CPS that are really good at their jobs are sometimes faced with really hard decisions and send a child back with the mom out of fear of what will happen to the child if placed in a group home or temporary foster care. And usually kids are brutally beaten and raped quite regularly. But if you are a mother watching this video, I want to give you something all to think about. It's easier for a child to hate you more than that of an absent father. Believe me, the day that you became a single mom, you now have to become everything to that child, including that of a protector. You should be scared to leave your young child alone with a boyfriend. I don't care if it's just a short trip down to the corner store and back. Don't do it. Many abused men and women and children also keep silent out of fear, but will hate you and the ground that you walk on, simply because you didn't keep your promise in protecting them. But remember this, just because you've given birth to a child does not mean that you've given that child life. This is something I had to share with my own mom 8 years ago, and since then we have not had a decent conversation. A child doesn't get to choose who their relatives will be, but when a child heals from his or her pains, he or she will no longer have to allow you to hide behind titles like mom and dad.
On Tuesday, March 5th, 2019, at 1000 hours, a child's body was discovered on the Equestrian Trail east of Hacienda Boulevard and just south of Colima Road. And this is next to the Shilai Buddhist Temple. And it's a sad moment for the department, for the community, and we're going to do our best to figure out what led to the suspicious death of the child involved.
Good morning, I'm Lieutenant Scott Hoagland with Sheriff Homicide Bureau. We're here today to discuss the incident. The case yesterday occurred on March 5th, 2019. A child's body was discovered about 10 o'clock, like the sheriff said, on Hacienda Boulevard, just down the embankment, just south of Colima Road. The location is just below the Buddhist temple in a equestrian walkway area. Investigators believe that the victim was dumped at the location sometime during the late evening hours of Sunday, March 3rd, and discovered again on March 5th at 10 o'clock in the morning. The victim was discovered by some county workers that were there clearing some brush and doing maintenance on the equestrian trail. The victim was in fact found partially inside of a black rollaway type duffel bag. The upper portion of the victim was protruding from that bag, which is depicted over here in one of our displays. The victim is a female black. Originally, yesterday, we determined that the victim was roughly 7 to 10 years old, but after further investigation with our investigators in the coroner's office, we now believe that our victim may be anywhere between the ages of 8 and 13 years old. She's approximately 4'5" tall, weighs about 55 pounds, and is skinny in nature. Investigators did not observe any obvious signs of trauma to the victim's body. At this time, this incident is being ruled as a suspicious death investigation. And the cause of death will be determined at an autopsy that should be taking place the next day or two. The motive at this time is unknown. The purpose of this conference here today is to reach out to the public, the community, to find out if anybody saw anything suspicious in nature during those time frames on Hacienda Boulevard. There is a turnout on Hacienda Boulevard, just south of Colima Road, where we're looking for any type of witnesses that may have been traveling that area, that may have seen a vehicle pulled over to the side. Anybody with information regarding our victim, who our sketch artist at Homicide Bureau created a sketch, which is also displayed over here. We are looking for anybody that recognizes this individual, recognizes the suitcase, as well as the clothing that the victim was found in, which is also depicted over here in one of our bulletins. We are asking anyone with any type of information, no matter how small, to contact Sheriff Homicide Bureau with that information. We are looking for any lead. If you wish to remain anonymous, Crime Stoppers is a great option. You can remain anonymous and report what you may know. At this time, I'd like to open to any type of questions regarding this case.
As of yesterday, no one had come forward when you gave the press conference. Has anyone come forward, like witnesses or anyone related to the victim since then? Any possible leads?
At this point, we don't have any leads. We don't have any idea of who this child is. And that's why we're here today, is to find information.
Lieutenant, can you elaborate on the sign? You said there were no obvious signs of trauma. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how you think she may have died, or now did you downgrade this from a homicide to a suspicious death?
It's a suspicious death investigation. Again, there was no obvious signs of trauma that would indicate a homicide or anything evident that the cause was a homicide, that there's some type of blunt force trauma or anything like that. There was no evidence of that. We don't know the cause of death. It is undetermined at this point. And again, we're hoping to find out more at the time of the autopsy.
Did you say that she weighed 55 pounds?
Yes, approximately 4 foot 5 inches tall and weighed about 55 pounds.
That is extremely thin. Are there signs of neglect or malnutrition?
At this point, no. We're looking for witnesses. We know that the victim was small in nature, and we're hoping that will help the community identify our victim for us.
Lieutenant, have you had a chance to talk to other agencies in and around Southern California for this person file to see if anything conceivably fits this person?
Absolutely. Our investigators are in touch with Department of Children's Services and other missing child organizations, as well as school districts, looking for any type of lead. These flyers and information will be given to them to research their database and hope to identify this victim.
No hits yet, though.
As of this time, no, we do not have any information.
Lieutenant, can you talk a little bit more about the bag, and is that the actual bag, and just what its role was at the scene?
Yes, that is a internet version of the bag, similar, if not exact, as to the bag that the victim was located in. But that is a photo taken from an internet page.
Is the bag large enough to accommodate the entire person to the point that it would be completely concealed if she was in it and was zipped up?
I cannot answer that positively, so I can't say for sure now.
Is there any evidence that the person carrying that bag went to like seal fingerprints or that
Again, still too early in the investigation. Investigators were at the coroner's office late last night, continuing their investigation. We were preparing for this press conference this morning, so investigators are looking into all possible leads and all possible trace evidence that can help us assist in identifying a suspect and the victim.
Do you have any idea how long the girl has been dead and how long she was there in the trail?
We believe, like I said earlier, that it was within a 48-hour period prior to yesterday morning at 10. So it's just a rough estimate. We believe that possibly anywhere between Sunday afternoon, late Sunday, to the time of discovery, which was Tuesday morning at 10.
Can you talk about just how unusual this case is in LA County and just your gut reaction?
No, like anyone here, these are the hardest cases to handle. Anything involving a child, this is very sad. And like the sheriff said, I mean, he's given us every resource we need to put all the resources out in the field, to find a conclusion to this case, to find the person responsible, find out the reason for this child's death, and to identify the victim. So again, this is still very early on. It's a horrible, tragic case that our investigators are working diligently on to solve.
Lieutenant, have you heard of a woman found in a luggage or suitcase? Just talk to us about how unusual this is.
It is very unusual. We don't see too many cases where somebody's discarded in a suitcase or a luggage item like that. It's just a tragic situation. I mean, it's horrible to see.
Lieutenant, tell us if she was a victim of rape.
I cannot speak to that right now. I do not have any information if that was a factor or not.
Lieutenant, when you were talking about she being found, partially found in the bag, does it appear that she tried to get out of the bag herself? Was she face in the bag? Can you describe how she was found partially in the bag?
Her upper torso and head were protruding from the open bag. So, you know, if the individual was inside the bag or fell out, I cannot say for sure.
Was it zipped around the rest of the way?
It was partially zipped.
Was she bound?
No.
She was not bound in any way.
The bag appeared to be new, or can you tell?
At this point, I can't comment on that.
Do you have you gotten any surveillance video that might be helpful?
There is video in the area. Investigators, again, are working on that angle, hoping to identify some type of suspect or witness regarding this case, but that is all being looked into.
Can we, just to clarify with these questions, do you believe that she was dead when she went into the bag, or do you believe she was still alive in the bag?
Yeah, we can't determine that at this point. We do not know.
So you don't know if she if she died in the bag or if she was dead before she was put in.
Correct. There's no way to determine that.
Was there personal items in the bag that led to monitoring? Was her bag?
No, we do not have any information on that.
Were there any other items in the bag?
Not that we're going to comment on at this time.
Have you been able to find any information about why Hacienda Heights, why that horse trail, local?
Again, we don't have any information regarding this victim. We need to identify the victim before we can really launch into our investigation, and that's what we're looking for as the public's help in looking at these photos, looking at these photos up here, and helping us identify the victim so we can move on with our case. We don't have any motive, we don't have any reason for why this happened or how this happened, and that's the purpose for being here today, is to get the public's assistance and hopefully identifying the victims so our investigators can head down that path.
But you call that a random location?
You say you talked to other agencies in the country, as Pete asked. Have you talked to any other countries, Mexico probably? Should be somebody from the caravan, the Mexican caravan?
No, not at this point.
Will you be using familial DNA to try and establish parentage?
It's too early to say at this time.
So you mentioned...
Lieutenant, was there anything there at the scene which would indicate any clues to who might have dumped that bag? Was the bag dumped all the way down the hill? Shoe prints, footprints, anything else surrounding it other than the bag and the body itself?
We don't have any clue. No.
But you did mention that we did want to comment, but there may have been other items in the bag, but you can't say at this time.
Correct. We're not going to comment on that at this point.
I apologize if you said this in the beginning, but was the bag concealed in any way, or was it attempted to be covered, or was it?
It was adjacent. It was adjacent to the equestrian trail in light brush.
Do you think the bag was dumped over a hill, or do you think it was placed on the trail?
I cannot say for sure. I just know that it was at the bottom of an embankment that was adjacent to the 3400 block of Hacienda Boulevard.
Lieutenant, so can you talk a little bit about her clothes? Her blouse is pink, and I don't know whether that's the kind of blouse that they only sell at certain stores. I don't know whether that's a clue that you've been looking into at all.
Again, this is still very early. Investigators will look into every nook and cranny of this case to help identify the victim and the suspect. But again, that's something they can look at later on down the road.
She appears to be barefoot in the sketch. Was she not wearing any shoes when she was discovered?
Was she wearing shoes?
Does not, no shoes.
And are there any other distinguishing marks on her body that would help identify her?
No, not at this point.
Were the suspects driving the car? Taken on foot?
Again, we have no idea of who the suspect is, how the body got there, so I cannot comment on that.
Thank you.
One last question. Why do you think it happened between late Sunday afternoon? How are you pinpointing late Sunday afternoon?
Well, we're looking at 48 hours, within 48 hours prior to the discovery of the victim.
Of when she died, you think? Is that what the
of when she was located.
Of when she was located. So you think it was within 48 hours, but you can't say why you think that.
No, I cannot.
She was dumped.
And no idea
we don't know if
she's
she's
been
like
dead
US.
Cannot say.
Was there a lock on that bag where the zipper was?
No comment.
There wasn't any sign that she tried to claw her way out. Is what I'm trying to understand.
No.
So there you go, Royal Family. As you see that this case is very saddening. This girl was failed on many levels. The mother should have definitely not been a sex offender herself. Like, I get it. Sometimes in life we make mistakes. We get charges, etc. But I'm definitely interested in knowing more about her sex offense charge. But honestly, all the understanding in the world would never allow me to support what she did in that sex offense case. I do not support any pedophilia or any pedophile, regardless, period, point blank. nor do I feel like they should have children, allowed to birth their children and allegedly take care of their children. What sense does that make? Really, honestly. I don't understand the reason why you would just leave your child with a boyfriend. Again, I state this in several videos. If you're gonna have somebody around your child, get a background check. Vet them. Do your research on them. See how they are before you bring them around your child. But in this case, it seems that the mother, Tequesta, is just trash. I'm sorry to say this, but it's just trash. Her mom's running into her defense, also claiming that she did all these things to try to get the little girl help. I'm inclined to believe the police or CPS, whatever, that had stated that based off of, or somebody's lying here, you know what I mean? There would be records of reports. Again, grandparents have rights. You just have to go to court. Something about her speaking in that portion of the video, I wasn't feeling her. Genuinely, I just wasn't feeling her. But I don't know everything, so as you can imagine, I will continue to follow any updates on the story and bring them to the royal family. And with that said, royal family, please leave your comments in the comment section. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification. Make sure it says always, so that you're always notified when I drop a new video. Much love. Stay you, stay uncompromisable, stay royal, stay woke, and I will see you in another video. Much love.